Okay, perfect. Let me look at participants. Welcome everybody to the last class, 61C. So happy to see you all here. 45. See if we can get to it. Boy, it'd be great if we could actually get to like 100. Boy, that would be wild. 1 out of every 10 students showing up for the last live class. What a stretch that would be. By the way, before I start, let me share that it's important for you to sign up and do the course evaluations, course-evaluations.berkeley.edu. We need to get up to 90%. You get a free point. So please, this is just wonderful to please sign that up. So do that while you're waiting. And we will start recording. Actually, we're recording now. And we will start in a second. All right, Bora, you feeling okay? You ready?
I am good.
All right, good
stuff. Are you driving the slides?
I'm driving the slides. Yep, you can all see that. Hopefully you can all see. We're not doing today because of audio visual reasons. You'll see the reasons why, but hopefully you can see us on this. We probably should pin ourselves too. I should realize we should probably, is there a way to, when you're driving screen, you lose all the windows. Let me see if I can pin myself.
That's right. I can pin
spotlight here. Spotlight myself and spotlight you as well. How about that, Bor?
I got
and that way our TAs are not being spotlight. They don't have to worry about being online. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So let's get rolling. Welcome. We got to 77. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last class in 61C lecture. I think 45. That's amazing. Friday, week 15. Woo!
I mean, can you imagine that we are almost done?
Can you believe it? I can't believe it. This is incredible. Yeah. I mean, what a road this has been. Holy yes. If you told me the bumps in the road, come on, there will be bumps in the road. Bumps in the road. They're mountains. Yeah. You're all here together.
I can tell you this was the craziest semester that I've had in my 21 years at Berkeley period. I mean, and the craziest one, and then a gap.
Yeah.
And then comes the spring 2020.
But there's like 3 things that are distinguished this year. One, it's the craziest semester. The second is that these students are walking into the final with the highest grade I have ever seen in 61C. And I've taught this, I think, 10 times. I've never seen this histogram, this total course points going to the final. So these students are as primed as they are. You all, all that work you guys put into project 1, 2, 3, and 4 and the studying for the exams. Wonderful. It has really paid off in terms of your performance.
But not only that, we get some feedback about the performance in interviews. Our friends at Apple told us that all the firmware positions that needed basically understanding of C and how does it work with hardware were sold to Berkeley students, Berkeley undergrads, 5 days after posting. That's it.
Wow.
I mean, nobody failed in. Apparently, everybody passed the interviews. So
wow.
I feel really
congratulations.
Good about that, right?
Congratulations,
I really
everybody.
Feel good about that. It all feels like it was worth it.
And you made Berkeley proud. I mean, this is what we are. Our job is to set you up. We're the coach. Like we're the ones on the corners in the boxing ring. You can do it. You're a lean, mean 61C machine, and we send you off into the round. And you've all done very, very well. So great job, everybody.
You also create opportunity for the next class and the class after that.
Right.
And it feels good.
Yep.
It feels like it's worth doing all of this.
I love it.
So what we have done in this class, let's try to recap it a bit.
Sure.
So we tried to convey 6 really great ideas in computer architecture. So we drilled on the abstraction. So we've been talking about building really complex systems, but we can't build these complex systems by having everybody always touch every gate at the very bottom when writing
too much detail.
Too much
detail. You'll just drown. You'll drown in detail. Exactly.
And too many things going on. So we build these layers of abstraction, and these layers have served us really well. We have been able to tackle them layer by layer, going from top to the bottom and back from bottom to the top. And I'm hoping that everybody feels really comfortable now understanding how does a computing system work. That's the first big point that was drilled on throughout the class. The second one was this thing of Moore's law that got us where we are now. And there is the scare that Moore's law may be going away, that the technology is not going to continue scaling at the same pace as it did before. And that's true, but it is still getting better and new things are going to happen. And we just need to understand that we are going to have to deal with power limits. We need to figure out how to go towards designing systems with slightly better technology and a little bit more energy efficient. So we'll have to deal with design under power constraints. And that's going to be big. I mean, that's the task for your generation. You're going to be dealing with that. There is no miracle technology that is going to come and suddenly start scaling into subatomic levels. You guys will have to figure this out. That's the mission for your entire generation.
And quantum may be coming. That's going to be exciting. When quantum is here, that changes everything. I can't wait to teach the new 61C with quantum as one of the things we'll use. I just can't wait for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, but don't hold your breath right away. I mean, you got to make do with CMOS for another 10, 15 years or so.
I agree.
Exactly. We talked about that. We are seeing glimpses of this using specialization. And yeah, we have to change 61C as we go along. The big thing, I'll get back to that. So the third thing that we did is this principle of locality and memory hierarchy. And that is huge, right? It looks like we are working with this infinitely fast and infinitely large memory system, although it is not, it is limited. I mean, we most of the time are working with those few registers that we got in L1 cache, and everything else is there just to show up right in time for us to grab it and do computation.
It's a beautiful abstraction to have the abstraction to make you think you get this benefit of infinite size and infinite speed. L1 speed at size of disk. Like that is just a great lie that we tell you, and it just works. I mean, it is wonderful below. There's a lot of obviously engineering behind it, but it's just pretty cool that you can think that way.
The other thing, keep in mind, one of the challenges, you will hear a lot of people talking about, oh, there is some other technology that is going to come and rescue us. We are going to do non-von Neumann computing and so on. And they typically, when you drill down, they get about this principle of memory hierarchy. And the life, working without being able to build these luxury applications that we have running on top of the operating system with multi-threading and many processes and all of that working simultaneously and not impacting each other, that is going to be really tough life. I don't think we're going to see much of that. So keep in mind, this is a very basic principle. Don't violate it. We do need infinitely big and infinitely fast memory built out of cheap components. The fourth thing that came initially to help out with the issues with power limitations and slowdowns of Moore's law is the parallelism. That is a huge thing that we drilled through. So if you took this class 10 years ago, there was like almost no parallelism.
That's true. That's true. A gate level. There's some gate level, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, but that's not how people taught it. Dan, right. You taught the class back then.
I did.
So things now, parallelism is in the forefront. And what we are going to see going forward, we are going to see specialization, a different kind of parallelism. We are going to have these units that are really good at doing their stuff. It's not just CPUs and GPUs and everything else. There is going to be a whole bunch of different units that are really good for their particular stuff, for particular things. We need to figure out how to run them all together concurrently and efficiently. And we need to program them really efficiently. And that's a pretty big thing, pretty big deal, how to do that. The fifth big principle is about the performance measurement and improvement. And this is one of the first, we didn't tell you that early on, but that was one of the big Patterson's contributions from like late 70s. Before that, building computers was like a black magic. And the first edition of Patterson Hennessy's book actually set up the right way of thinking about computers. First, let's try to figure out how do we evaluate performance. And then when we know what we are dealing with, we know what to improve on. And there, what we talked about in the class is not just IPCs and the iron rule, law of computing, but also different ways of how we measure performance, because taking just one angle of measuring the performance often gives us a wrong idea how the actual system is going to perform from users' point of view. And we mentioned this multiple times. AMD is known for beating all the benchmarks, and and users don't like it in the end. They've gotten a lot better over time, but this is something that we are going to see, especially going forward in the era of specialization. We have the Apple M1. It's a different system, and it is going to be doing some things better, but some other things may not be. Some applications may not be running quite well. And then the sixth big idea is, we just touched on, is dependability via redundancy. It is important. It is what makes our systems run, and we can rely on them for doing really, really important things like healthcare and life support and finances. And
self-driving cars, and self-driving cars, when there's a mud splotch on the sensor on the right, does my car continue to drive? It does. How does it do that, right? All of that.
Now, that also is entangled with everything else. I mean, we need to there is this really, really important thing where we need to figure out, how do we measure how dependable our system is. We have put some numbers over there, but that's a big, if you look at all these ASIL standards, people are trying to metricize that. How often are we allowed to have our self-driving engine fail?
Right.
We are going to see that, we are talking about quantum and things like those are going to fail a lot more often, at least the way how we see them now. They're going to be less reliable than what we have now. We'll have to live with that. They're going to be wonderful, but they're not going to work all the time.
Right.
This is going to get to the forefront. But that's it. I'm going to switch over to Dan.
Sure. And what's interesting is, I remember Dave has this wonderful line from point 5, which was great metrics yield great performance. Great metrics yield great improvement. If you don't have a metric, my user interface is better than your user interface. Really? On what metric? There is no metric. It's a soft, squishy one. And that's why it's hard to measure these things that are squishy. You make a really clean metric, you can optimize. And by the way, you know what they're optimizing for now? This is something probably born in the last 5 years, I think. It used to be, what's your performance? What's your spec rating? Now it's spec rating per watt. It's how power efficient are you? That's a whole new way of thinking. How efficient are you per watt? Everything's mobile. Everything's on the laptop. Certainly the Mac Pro plugged in. Who cares how many watts you're using? But if you're doing anything else, laptop, mobile, watch, you need to have performance per watt. So that's a big new idea, way of thinking that wasn't there, I think 5 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago. Yeah, it was just raw performance.
That's a huge thing as well. I mean, and it also needs to be shaped up over time, and it's not just instructions per watt now. It is often some particular task. How many facial recognitions can we do per watt and per second? And that's a pretty big deal, right? I mean, when we are looking at the phone, that facial recognition engine has 20 milliseconds to recognize you. Otherwise, you're not going to like your phone anymore. You're going to give up on that. 20 milliseconds under a limited power budget is a pretty challenging compute task, a lot more challenging than Project 4. But Project 4 does lay a good foundation for building something like that.
Sure. Let's keep on moving. Good stuff. Yeah, so this is, Bora talked a lot about this. This is the picture. This was the picture I used to teach when I taught this in 2001 with Dave Patterson. This was our course. Machine structures, the old school model, just thinking about a single machine, a single core even, and trying to look at all the layers of abstraction. We talked about great idea number 1. With the ISA being the most important, we spent a lot of time talking about the design of this new wonderful open ISA that we have, that we've learned about, that our team, Berkeley's team, has contributed to. Just love that. So we spent a lot of time thinking about this slide. We also talked about this slide, which is, it's a lot more complicated. You've got not one machine, but multiple machines, and every machine has multiple cores. How do they talk? How do you have cache coherency? What are the issues? What's the 4th C? Parallelism came in at many layers. We've got parallelism with requests, high level. We talked about thread level parallelism instruction. Let's do pipelining, parallel data. Let's do some SIMD and do things all at once, and hardware descriptions all operating at the same time. So we talked about parallelism, many, many layers, and I think all of you are fluent in all 5 layers. You can imagine, a future project 4 might involve somebody touching every single one of them. Some project that actually involves, if to really optimize it, you touch on every single one of those, and that would be really exciting. Maybe future TAs could think about a project that actually makes them, to get that number, to get the top of the score, you actually have to do something explicitly about that in a clever way.
May make you wish take 61C again.
Yeah,
By
right.
the way, we have 100 people now.
Hey, got a broke on 90. Yeah, that's great. Wonderful.
It was 100 a minute ago.
Yeah. They came out just as you said.
Yeah.
And this is also a big idea here. We have connected. This is, okay, I'll tell a story. This was the first time, my own version of this class I took 100 years ago, 1986. I'm dating myself. Probably, Bora, you probably assume you and I are the same age. I remember learning this and sitting in class and realizing, it was called 6004 at MIT. It's basic 61C. They're almost identical classes, And I remember saying, this is the first time I understand it all. This is the first time I understand the connection between how software works at the highest level. Here's C, and above that, here's Python, and things above that. Here's something. Here's Snap above that. All the way down
there was no Python back then.
I know, right? Python was only on the TV show, Monty Python. So you came, it was a gleam in Guido's eye. So it came down, I could assemble down to machine code. Now I have an executable program, just ones and zeros. How do you run that? At the point of me walking into that class, and hopefully you walk into this class, you didn't know what that was. Those ones and zeros meant nothing to you. Now they do. You could literally, if I give you on the final exam ones and zeros from a final executable, a simple thing, you could actually go all the way back up to C and understand what the heck that means. And you could also build a machine that does that. And you did that in Project 3. So I think of this where it's almost like the two connections between hardware and software are connected. And I want the 101 of you to actually, if you can, get ready here. I want you to clear out, step back from your computer. Nobody else is on the screen except for Bora and myself. I'm going to try to do this if I can. I got a background. I got to do this thing. I want you to stand up. I want everybody to stand up. Let's do it. Everybody stands up. This is a moment. This is a moment for celebration.
I'll zoom out.
I can't zoom out. Bora has more. Bora has higher. I'm gonna show you my chest. Okay, that's all I got. I'm standing up. I'm standing up. Okay.
I can wait.
Everybody's standing up. Here we go. This is the moment where you made hardware and software connection, where the connection between hardware and software comes together. For the first time ever, I want you to call home. Get your phone out. Call home. We've done it. Celebration! Woo! Do a dance. Do a dance. Woo! We did it! Woo! Woo! Thank you so much.
Zoom back in.
Zoom back in. Now, I will say, this is all weird and it's all virtual, so you don't get the equivalent. But when we would do this, when we would do this live, we asked the entire class to stand up and walk around and dance with us around the class. And we would have everybody remember. I just want you to remember that moment, that this never been a time before where you really been able to connect that. And the moment that you actually finished, the last, like the last tie when you connect the two railroads, the last tie that was connected was when you figured out the control logic to make the RISC-V machine work. That was the moment that hit, that's when that connection made, where you could actually teach it from the top down and the bottom up and build it there and tell your friends. So I encourage you to try to teach your friends how this works, to kind of share some of the wonders of it. All right.
And there is a benefit of being remote this semester. We didn't make you call home right away at that point. Otherwise, we would have.
Right. That was a big deal. It's hard to do this asynchronously when we make a video and ship it off to you. We don't know when these things happen, but nice to have a shared experience. These shared experiences are definitely missed sometimes. All right. We've got a pretty wide open calendar here, folks. You've got 2 weeks. This is a Friday. This is the summary lecture. You've got all the rest time to put things together. to get yourself gathered together. You have a unique kind of exam situation. The exam situation is going to be the same as it was in the midterm. We give you 24 hours. We've already announced this is nothing new. It's going to be 3 sections, a quest, a midterm, and a final. Roughly a 1, 3, 2 kind of a model in terms of the number of half-hour segments, where the first quest probably about half an hour-ish, the midterm probably 90 minutes-ish. We definitely leave room for flex, and the final section for about an hour-ish, totaling up to 3 hours. You can take it anytime over 24 hours. And the same recording rules. I'm seeing a question. The same recording rules is there. Nothing changed. It's everything the same, but only 3 sections you have to worry about, and not 2. And points distributed similarly to the time limits. That's exactly right. Yes.
Yeah, we are here to help during the RRR week. There will be extra office hours. We will hold them. There'll be a dense offering of office hours. So come armed with your questions. I'll definitely hold an office hour. I can even try to hold it in person, but it's limited to 12 people. I don't know how is that going to work, but I can try.
I may be with my nose to the grindstone working with CC and the team to get the Prairie Learn. So I may not offer that many office hours, but I definitely do know that we care about you when we're putting our hours into where they need to be spent to really make sure we give it a very nice beta tested exam for you guys. Definitely. And you have to complete it in 3 hours. A question from Josh. Yes, you have to complete it in 3 hours, but not in a 3-hour window, 3 hours overall time. Like this plus that is 3 hours. And how you divide those 3 sections up is there. Good stuff. Good question. All right. So we said this before, and by the way, I got to make this clarification. This is somebody got stumbled one time. I was really embarrassed when they said, "Oh yeah, I aced the midterms. I mean, I don't take the final, right? The midterm part of the final, I didn't take it. I just left it blank because I aced it, right?" No. These are harder questions. You got to take the whole final. So everyone takes the whole final, even if you aced quest or midterm. You got to take the whole final. Don't make that mistake. That would be embarrassing. And if you did well in any class, and this is this second part of the slide, I talk about every class I teach. If you did well, please give back. The usual path is academic intern, tutor, or reader, and then TA, and then head TA, and then summer instructor. The highest pantheon of elevation of a student instructor is the summer instructor. So some of our students have done that this semester, and it's been great to work with them. So.
And this is really, really important. We really rely on you guys. I mean, if you've done well, if you like this class, join the teaching crew.
Yeah, definitely.
This semester, we went with a lot of new TAs because the previous TAs, set of, lots of TAs that were around before graduated. And guess what? In May, another round of TAs, former TAs are going to graduate. We need new ones.
Right.
And that's really important. Also, it's a great experience. I mean, one thing is to take a class. A completely different level of understanding is to actually teach someone else how to do things.
Yeah.
And
you might think you know something until you try to teach it.
Yep, exactly.
So there's 2 questions that are coming up. I'll just answer live. Can you jump? Do you have to start at a 61C AI and then jump to this? But if you have AI experience, if you have lots of experience for another class, sometimes we can jump into that. You can be jumped into a paid position of a tutor reader without having to go through 61C AI. If you have no experience, you have to go through at least an AI experience. But if you do have experience, it's a good question, anonymous attendee for that one. And exam strictly timed this time. That means, again, actually, the exam is the same time as it was in the midterm. It's just that we're not going to write an exam that's much longer than hopefully an hour and a half for the TAs and the 3 hours. So basically, it's even the same exam kind of style as the midterm. Same idea. You got, but basically a smaller scope. You don't have, I think, 6 hours or something for the midterm. Now it's definitely 3 max. 3 max divided into 3 pieces. All right. I love this. I'll do my again. The Godfather answers all of life's questions. You come to us. The reason the Godfather answers all life's questions is a wonderful kind of meta meta point here. But what we mean by this is you need somebody to vouch for you. You need somebody to tell, if you're going into research, somebody's got to say, this person is good. You're going to a job. Sometimes on a job, you don't need to vouch as much because you can be an interview, and that's, you kind of self-vouch by showing off that you know the stuff in an interview. But most of the time, if you go to the next level of academics, you need to have somebody tell you that they believe I'm from a position of authority and this person is a rock star. Somebody's got to tell you that. And so the way you do that is you get involved in research. And that's one of the reasons that Berkeley is the top university in the world, or at least one of them. So,
and you've heard a pretty strong pitch from Dave Patterson, go to grad school. I mean, if you can, if you can by any means, don't stop with a bachelor's degree. I mean, you can, nobody will fault you at that, but, go for it. The thing there is, it becomes a lot more personal. Instead of having 1,000 people, it's your advisor and a few people. And it's a big commitment for that advisor to take you on. So somebody has to vouch for you, like Dan and I.
And they know you great. I mean, they know you for years, right? I mean, like I just love writing letters for people I've worked for several years, either in games crafters or other things that I've done, because I can say, I speak, it's not just, well, they've taught for me, but they've done this research, they've done these things. There's a lot of elements to a person that you can really boast about. This person has, dedication and passion and blah, blah, and I can just continue to talk about that. If they're a student, in fact, if you ask me for a letter, I won't give you a letter if you're my student. I don't know you well enough. Only when you go through my teaching, research, or service activities do I get to know you enough to write a letter that means it. Otherwise, it's a meaningless letter. It's called actually a weak letter, and weak letters hurt your case more than no letter at all. So I always say no to any student, but I say yes to every former person who worked with me in a teaching, research, or service role as well. All right. So you want to take this one over, Bor?
Yeah, of course. I'll paraphrase this a bit and butcher it possibly. They would say this always better than I would. There are many opportunities in this field. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But this was, for huge majority of students in the class, this was the entry into the systems area of computer science, or what's commonly known as computer engineering. How do we make computer systems work? There's a bunch of upper division classes that will help you understand that. And there are many career opportunities that are out there. Dave Patterson and John Hennessy won the Turing Award 3 years ago, and they made a point that this is a golden time, golden opportunity, golden era of computer architecture. These golden eras happen from time to time when we have a big transition to a new paradigm, and we are now transitioning to this domain of specialization. Somebody has to do it. We'll have 1,200 candidates in this class that can participate in that, but it probably needs many more people than that. There are two directions that Dave mentions. One thing, there is a huge gap now between what we call productivity programming and performance programming. So far, before this class, you've learned about productivity. But in this class, you've encountered what performance means. And by the way, a side benefit of that, whenever you see a job listing or internship listing for performance programming, you're most likely already qualified for that. I mean, you'll get more qualified as you take undergrad, more upper div classes, but you're already good enough to hit those internships. One of the big things is that this gap between productivity and performance is growing every year. And it's, the gap between high-level applications, frameworks, even Python down to C is huge. It's 1,000x in Fusion. We have seen that. One of the big challenges is make productivity run as fast, productivity frameworks run as fast as performance. I think that, Dave has been quoted, whoever does that will win a Turing Award. It's not an easy thing to do. And then the other thing is about this domain specialization, domain specific applications. building hardware, building efficient compilers for that, and efficient frameworks. It is something that is pretty hard, and we have seen a glimpse of that. You have seen a little bit how that is done, right? The first successful coprocessor was a floating point processor. That's the first accelerator. Then we are seeing vectors, and your vector accelerators, you're using them in a class now, and I'm hoping you're having fun. But there, in project 4, you're actually using an accelerator, using relatively low level programming. So it's, these higher level frameworks do help, but they don't always find the right thing, and they don't compile always quite the right way. There is a big challenge of doing that. And what we are going to see more and more of these classes of accelerators showing up, and frameworks that are going to try to hit them are going to be really important.
Good stuff. Nice summary. Nice summary. Dave would be proud. That was great. Do you want to talk about this one as well?
Yeah. Yeah, we are seeing a glimpse of this showing up. We are seeing these systems on a chip that have not just, CPUs are not going anywhere. Whoever is telling you that the computing is going to completely change and we are not going to see these general purpose cores, I would love them, ask them to show you how are they going to program bare metal, that kind of stuff, and never live with, never use an operating system again. Good luck with that. Good luck with user acceptance on that kind of a thing. But we are going to see these systems that have incredible performance when they're ran properly, when there are going to be multiple processor cores, GPUs, accelerators, interfaces, memory systems of different kinds. And we use the picture here of Apple A13 Bionic, but M1 chip is an example of that. And we are going to see more of those. And by the way, this, one funny thing about this class, we use this Anand often as a source of our pictures and so on. And we brought you Anand live to
no other class I've ever seen.
Yes.
No other class in the history of Berkeley, before. As far as I know. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's not a 14-year-old kid anymore, but he's hiring. And I think he's the one that hired a few of our undergrads.
That's great. That's great.
Things are going to go in this. And what we are seeing now, I mean, you've been following these news. Amazon has now their own systems on a chip. They have been announced to be in the cloud. Apparently, they have the client one. So Alexa is going to start speaking. Is going to get custom hardware. And there are rumors that it may be RISC-V. We don't know.
Woo! That would be a nice coup. That'd be a great coup.
And this is going to be all over the place. So, and they're all going to be different. Somebody has to figure out how to work with all of that.
Outstanding.
All
Outstanding.
Right.
Good stuff. So let's just do a little taste of getting involved with some of the projects I'm working on. As you know, I'm passionate about CS for all. I hope you know that. I care about bringing computer science to people who are really just passionate about learning CS, who may not have had the resources to get there. So I do have some projects to improve CS10 and to improve Snap, the language. And if you're interested, I have a project manager for BJC, who's Lauren Mock, who's our former head TA. Just shoot her an email, say, I want to join one of Dan's groups. What do you have? And then she'll queue up your names, and we'll have a big meeting at the beginning of next semester and do that. I also had this project I've been working on since I was a sophomore. I was a sophomore in college, and I created this game theory tool called Gamesman, and I've continued to keep it rolling, and it was my master's project, and I have now a group that I've been running for now 20 years. Started it in 2001, so next year is going to be the 20th anniversary of Games Crafters. So please do that if you care about game theory. We call it computational game theory using computer horsepower, i.e. parallelism, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more, to try to attack game theory trees. Boy.
And we do also have to do development for, 61C is, as it's never twice the same class that is being taught. I would love to change some of the infrastructure that we're on. As the RISC-V hardware becomes more available, we may go for changing our compute infrastructure to
that'd be so good. That'd be so good.
Yeah, right. You can imagine building your own core and then fast forward, you're running software on that core. And the accelerators and so on. It'll be a few years, but we will need a big effort to put that together. In the meantime, I did mention this before, but now this is an open call. We do have a bunch of research projects, and we do involve undergrads. And why am I in the next 3 slides are pretty important. My graduate students and senior undergrads are telling me nobody's knocking on their lab doors. Well, perhaps there is nobody in Soda and the lab doors are closed and there is nobody inside. So it's a lot harder to make a connection. I'm trying to make a connection, and this is an open call. If you think you're doing really well in this class, and then you have it, you can be involved in research, please join us. And here's stuff that we do. My group is a little different than the others, but we build a ton of chips, a lot of chips. And guess what? Pretty much every single one of them has a RISC-V, or every single one in this picture has a RISC-V whole core in that. Look
Wow.
where they date to May 20, and that was a Raven 1 chip, had the first RISC-V core. Remember, RISC-V ISA was formed by, like, the first draft was in August of 2010. 6 months later, we taped out the chip based on that.
Wow.
The chip didn't work. Its internal code name was a train wreck. Because we were just.
Oh, that's
but
brilliant.
What is the reason.
You're learning.
That's a beauty. I mean, it basically was like a 61C project. I mean, it was like built what
That's great.
pretty much with an understanding that what you guys have now. But we get better over time. So the thing that you have in the corner over there, Eagle X, is a 20-core RISC-V, pretty capable, system that booted Linux and has all kinds of other things on it. So, and you can play with it. And we need, some of our current TAs are helping us out, right? The applications for it, but you can run, write applications, RISC-V applications for that particular processor. Next slide.
That's great.
Big thing, a few big things. So I'm affiliated with a few research labs, and we do traditionally engage quite a few undergrads. Adept Lab has this big infrastructural project that is called Chipyard. We have a whole bunch of, a good collection of RISC-V cores and tools that go along that. And there is an automated software framework that lets you build your own chips. You can try those chips. You can build them on an FPGA, or you can build them in an ASIC. We typically have undergrads, and several of your TAs have been working on that as well. Join us, please. Next slide. Here is the what is in there. There is a generator now. We make you write these cores from scratch. When we build this Chipyard thing, we give you cores. We have pre-configured cores written in a more abstract way, but you can make a single core RISC-V, or you can make a few core RISC-V, and then we have custom accelerators. And we are practicing that future that we are imagining, where the domain specialization is going to be the thing. So we make all kinds of things. We don't always know what is that going to be. Is it going to work well? And there is plenty of surprises over there. Oh, we thought this was going to work, not really well. But that's what the research is. So try it out, and it is going to help you see the future a little bit earlier. And
Beautiful.
That's it. Back to you, Dan.
Beautiful. Sure. Let's talk about opportunities next semester. So if you're thinking about what courses, I think that was one question. What courses should we take after 61C? Here's a little taste of it. 152 was an obvious course. If you like CPU design, memory, and architecture in general, please think about that. 162 is the OS side of that. So if you appreciate the VMOS and you just want to learn more and more and more, and I think 162 will really teach you to be a better programmer as well. Even if you don't end up studying systems or OS, you'll be a better C programmer. Class, yeah, it's really hard, but it's great.
These two classes really build up on top of what we have done. I mean,
they build your muscles in that way. I offer 3 decals. I'll just give you a little taste of them. One, I mentioned Games Crafters before. Please do join that. This time has changed. It's not this old slide, 10 to 11. I think it's 4 to 5. Check my website. I think it's 4 to 5 p.m. next semester. So sorry about that. There is an iOS decal if you want to learn how to program iOS devices, and UC Bug decal if you want to learn how to make Pixar short films. That's an amazing course. That's also a lot of work. That's 3 units, but if you don't need anything other than 3D interest to do that. So that's just great. You want to cover this one, Bor?
More on the EE side. Many of you probably have taken 16A. And that's good enough to get you into a lot of entry into the E side of things. If you want to get into 120 series, which are signals and systems and communications, you probably should take 16B to get going with that. But if you are interested more into circuits and physical devices, you can go straight from 16A into 105 and then dive into 140 series. There is also devices that is 130 series. Next fall, I'm teaching, I'm guessing I'm going to see many of you in 151. So we just got our teaching assignments. I'm teaching EX 151, which is Intro to Digital Systems and Circuits. And that class just basically follows exactly where we stopped. We are going to repeat some of that. There'll be other students who might have not seen RISC-V in that class. We are going to repeat RISC-V and then just get going. Learn a new language, Verilog, and build a bigger RISC-V system and get it to work. It is one thing, I often get questions. It has 2 labs and they're separate. You can sign up for LA and LB. Generally not a good idea to sign up for both. That's 7 units, and 7 Berkeley units is a lot of units. I mean, there are students who do that, but think about it before signing up for 7 units of heavy lab project class. Usually people take 5 units, so the lectures plus 1 of the labs, and then in the next semester they take the other lab.
Wonderful. I just looked up on the side. Games Crafters is 3 to 4 p.m. Next spring. So think about that if you want to do that. This is my slide I created a couple of years ago, and I still think it's true. With all the whiz-bang, there's cloning and TVs on your wristwatch and all the thing, I think the biggest invention that we're going to see in our lifetimes is going to be the ability to directly connect your brain to a machine. And I think we've already seen, Elon Musk, I think one of our Computing the News, if you remember that, Bora, we brought Elon Musk is trying to do that and play with that. Explain. That is a very exciting space.
Bunch of our alumni. And I think today posted they're hiring again.
Wow. I mean, this is, I think, the hottest, most interesting space in terms of future, like, blue sky research. Boy, the matrix is coming, folks. And just the ability to be able to have, input and output, to be able to download a dream and upload a dream, it blows my mind in terms of science fiction, but I think it's going to be here soon. So I'm very excited about that. And maybe able to, download all your thoughts of life. You have some Albert Einstein level intelligence, download it so you have it, kind of a thing. Surviving it, but wonderful stuff. So Jose Carmina is one of our colleagues who is working that very, very, very hot research area, brain-machine interfaces. So please connect with him if that's interesting to you. Bora, Project 3 Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, the awards.
We got our first 10 winners. Congratulations.
Congratulations, everybody, for your hard work on Project 3. Man, oh man, that was a lot of work to put that together.
So what you won is everybody, each one of you won a pair of Apple AirPods Pro.
Wow.
We will need your shipping addresses. We are going to contact you if you would like to receive the award. We can't give it to you in person. I mean, maybe we might be able to arrange for that, but more likely we are going to ship it to you.
Congratulations.
We'll need your address.
Congratulations to all that group. Wonderful,
this is spectacular.
Wonderful.
I mean, this is sometimes we have small prizes, but $30 prizes. These are
it's a big deal.
We have a couple of dozen of these.
We've never done this before. Usually we give you a handshake and a certificate. We've never given a $100 gift for this. So,
this is $259 each.
Wow. Thank you, Apple, and thank you to the students for putting the hard work in, folks. Great job, everybody. Great job, folks.
Yep.
And there are more awards coming, I understand, Bora.
Yeah, so we have more awards for Project 4, top performance in Project 4, and also top performance in the class. And our top TAs are going to get awards.
Wow. Great job, folks. Again, wonderful.
Speaking of
TAs, let's give thanks to all the hard work done by our TAs. The first, this is all a set of just thank yous at this point. This is like the end of an Oscar speech. First, we want to thank Stephen and Cece. They were outstanding head TAs, up and down, handling all the situations we did. Thank you so much for your hard work and dedication to this class. And this is just pages after pages. We have a huge staff. So thank you, Jonathan, Nikhil, Sine, Daniel, Cynthia, and Kevin, again, for all of this. Caroline, Gia, Kimberly, Max, Anson, Taejung. Jerry, Alice, Justin, Saya, Ryan, Emily, Ryan, Ivy, Robin, Luke, Avi, and Lou. Almost done. Ryan, Dale, and Anthony. Thank you so much. Let's give a hand for our TAs and our staff. Amazing group of TAs who are there. So, by the way, our TAs are overworked at a level I don't even want to know. I mean, I want to know because I want to fix it, but our TAs put in so many extra hours that you guys don't even realize. So please, thank you so much. Let's give our thanks to the TAs.
It's like they really Oscar ceremony. Now we need to thank our families, friends, producers.
Right. That's right. Let me thank my family for letting me steal every weekend for the entire semester. Yeah. That's definitely what the prize goes to my wife.
Till 2, 3 a.m. Yeah.
The prize goes to my wife for not having a weekend with her for the whole sim. All right. I also want to thank, there's another slide that I think I might have gotten lost here. I want to thank also the tutors and the AIs for our family. This is a lot of work by a lot of people. This is, where the wheels meet the road, all that contact, all that face-to-face time you had with your tutors and your AIs. Thanks to those folks. Those are great job, everybody. Phew, here we go. The future for future Cal alumni. What is the future? Look at this. This new millennium is amazing. Ubiquitous computing. Anywhere you go, you got a computer on your phone, in your hand, as fast as a computer from 2 generations ago. What can you do with it? Nanotechnology, making things smaller and smaller and small. The Internet of Things means that everything is an IP address now. I have light bulbs in my house that have IP addresses, Bora. This is crazy. If you told me, Dan, you have light bulbs, I was like, come on. A light bulb with IP. Yes, I have an IP.
They're not secure.
I know they're not. Wait, why did it go red? Thank you so much, hacker. So I've got this going on. We've got AI. The parallel revolution is hitting. Domain specialization, as Bora mentioned. Exactly that. Again, rapid changes in technology, post-PC era. We talked about the eras of computer. I remember the lecture where I talked about that. We're still at the post-PC era. The power of the cloud is in your hand and on your watch. It's incredible. You've got the world's best education at Cal. Never give up. The best way to predict the future is to invent it. Alan Kay. So the future is up to you. That's it, folks. I want to thank Bora for the teamwork. I really have enjoyed this year with you, my friend, this semester with you. It's been a challenge because of all the other things that came on, but I couldn't imagine somebody better to ride the train with you. So thank you so much for all the things you've done.
Dan, thank you as well, and to your family for letting us borrow you.
Yeah, that's yours as well. And yours as well. Oh my goodness. Let me get out of this. We got here. Don't leave yet. Don't leave. We got one more. Let me see. I might have. Boy, do you have one more thing? I might have one more. I might just have one more thing. I don't know how many of you folks are fans. We've never
done this before.
Yeah, we've never done this before. This is brand new. I don't know if you're fans of the Hamilton soundtrack, Disney Plus and everything, but I might need some help with this from folks who might need to. So TAs, if you can unmute, I might need all the TAs, Anson, Ryan, Lou, Bora. I need some help here.
I'm here.
Oh, but you have to go. Okay. So I need everybody to kind of give me a little bit of a backup here going on. So we'll see. We'll see if this works. But there is some Zoom lag, so I want to apologize already.
You've never done this.
This Zoom lag is going to be just very unfortunate, and this is much better live in front of the class. But we'll try. So, folks,
let's give us
a try. TAs, Ryan, Anson, Lou, you got to unmute. You got to stay with us. They don't know. They're like, what do you mean? You didn't tell us this. I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knows what they're supposed to be doing. But we're going to give this a shot anyway. Bora, at least you got my back here. Here we go. All right?
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Let's do it.
All right. On 3. Let me turn the volume down just a little bit so I'm not overwhelming myself. Okay. On 3. Here we go. Woo! 3, 4, 5, 6,
61C. It's the 6 big ideas. Computer architecture.
Number 1, it is all about the layers of abstraction. If you understand, no need for further action. If you don't grab a friend, peer instruction, they'll tell you that Moza was an exponential function. Have a second cache just in case. The first one is the miss. Locality of time and space. This hierarchy with smaller, costly, faster. Always a local copy of the bigger, cheaper master. If not fast enough, parallel. The pruning non-determinism can be hell. You widen up your registers, accelerate with SIMD, or you go multi-core and then you speed it up with MIMD. Larger performance for improvement. The use of solid metrics, is a movement. 2 get dependability. Add 1, 2, or 3 backups for redundancy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 61C. Good luck on your exam. Woo! Folks, what a pleasure it's been teaching this class with you. We are so excited for you to go rock star that final exam, crush that, get the highest A grade in the history of this class. No curve. You guys are going to be great. You guys are ready. We love you guys. All right. Good stuff. Right. Good stuff. Thank you again for coming to this last class, everybody.
And we got to vacate this. We have a class after us.
Yeah, that's true. We got a class right now, actually. Chem 1A, so we got to get out. Take care, folks. And, thanks, everybody.
We'll answer the questions. You hit me up with the questions next week.
Perfect. All right. Take care, folks. I'll be right. I'll write the exam. All right. Thanks, folks. Bye. Good stuff.